Well, hello and welcome to my video, all Constitution respecting and freedom loving friends. And as you can tell from the background image, this video is going to be on uh, Sig Sauer P320 model. And as you all know, those who are into, especially SIGs, uh, there has been a lot of talk going on lately about the accidental discharge, also known as uncommanded discharge or accidental firing. So basically, I was trying to understand myself, what's going on and what are the, potential problems that is causing that. And so many times, the company Sig Sauer uh, came up with not very satisfactory explanations, in my opinion, as they were kind of holding the user, the gun owner, uh, accountable or responsible with reasons like a potential or possible cases of not handling the gun correctly. Maybe the holster was not designed well. It wasn't completely covering the trigger guard or trigger, and or somehow the user did something, either not admitting that he had a mistake, he had an error, or wasn't aware. I don't know how that would be possible. And all these kinds of situations that we heard, and I was just trying to understand and trying to make sense out of that. And the reason why I'm using that background image public announcement is because I'm not going to go into the details of it. I'm going to put a link below this video, so you can read it, if you like, but just to kind of at the very high level. Eventually, I think my understanding is a Sig Sauer engineers, project managers, people, uh, they just run a lot of tests. I think how many different guns they did on the same model, 11 or so different guns. They did an extensive tests, drop tests, and all that. What they found that uh, if the gun drops at the negative 30-degree angle, I think the picture, see, I'm going to kind of lean back a little bit. The image that you're seeing behind me is kind of talking to that situation. The gun is dropping, and it's got to be concrete surface. Dropping from 4 feet approximately. If the gun drops from 4 feet to a concrete surface at a 30-degree, negative 30-degree angle, then it might discharge, is what I understand from their statements. So, and also they added, you can find that all kinds of other possible combinations of gun drop in, this, that, all kinds of possibilities. You can find it on the details. I'm not going to, like I said, get into all the details of it, but there's a 46 million possible combinations that are, I think, not all of them can be exhaustively and completely tested. But I was more curious, okay, mechanically, what can cause this? And again, one more thing, the test involves, as I just explained, a drop test. They were dropping from 4 feet to a concrete surface. But you remember there was one example, is there was multiple examples like that. One example is a police officer, actually, what he was saying was that his P320 got discharged while it was in its holster, and he was shot in the leg, and he had to be hospitalized. And there are many examples like this, multiple cases like this. I think, again, the article gives the number, if I remember correctly, it was about 80 different situations and scenarios. 80 people, got impacted by the accidental discharge. So let's delve into what could possibly cause accidental discharge. So I want to use also as an example my Sig Sauer P320. This is the AXG combat model, and with this one, I did over 2,500 shootings. In my personal take, I've been extremely satisfied with this. I mean, needless to say again, uh, Sig Sauer makes an awesome, high quality product, and I've been very satisfied with this. But again, seeing all these complaints, something is going on, right? And I think, like the public announcement, obviously the company Sig Sauer has been taking some action. And the funny thing is unlike many other companies, like say many other businesses such as car business, if there's a problem with cars, they can recall, or bicycles or motorcycles, they can recall. If they identify a defect, some kind of defect, and that would be causing a serious safety hazard and risk to the operator, then company can recall to fix the defect. This is not the case by law. This is not the case for gun manufacturer. They don't recall. They don't have to recall. So that's not in the books. But company, in this case Sig Sauer, owes public, and especially to Sig community, Sig Sauer community, that they should work on it and 100% prove that their product is safe and sound, and whatever the problem was causing this, they fix it. So this is what they are supposed to be doing. There is no doubt beyond that about that. But again, I just want to kind of talk about some mechanics behind that. So as we all know, and I'm not going to go ahead and field strip this gun while I'm doing this recording, because I had YouTube once gave me grief about doing this. So I just want to be careful. I have some warnings on my YouTube account, so I'm gonna kind of refrain from doing so. But I guess I don't have to do it, right? You guys know all about that. I just want to kind of a little bit analyze and discuss, and also like to hear your opinion. So first off, I'm taking the magazine out and make sure that gun is not loaded, and I can see that there is no round in the chamber, so gun is not loaded. So let's continue with this. Again, this is the AX3 model, the kind of flat trigger. I've been happy with all aspects of it. As far as the trigger weight, this is, by the way, stock trigger. I did not modify the trigger. This is the stock trigger, and I've been just happy with the trigger weight, distance, reset point, all these things, and all the other aspects of it. So again, this doesn't mean anything. My experience, I didn't experience anything like this. Doesn't matter. I have 2,500 shootings or 25,000 shootings. To be able to kind of come up with an evidence, so to speak, or some kind of a more insight, you got to be carrying. I got to be carrying this all day long. I don't. This is not my everyday carry gun, by the way. So I don't carry it all the time with me on my hip. So I don't have enough data points, so to speak, from the analysis perspective. Again, what could possibly cause this? So since Sig Sauer is a striker fire gun, there is the firing pin which is being blocked or let go as you pull the trigger, right? As you pull the trigger, and I'm gonna do this now intentionally. So pulling the trigger, the firing pin gets unblocked, or more like sear is pushing down on the trigger bar. Trigger bar gets lowered, and therefore the firing pin can move and hit the bottom of the round and the chamber, right? And what is preventing the firing pin in its place if it's not intended to shoot, is the sear, that little tiny little piece in the FCU, right in this area. The fire FCU standing for Fire Control Unit. There is a tiny little piece called sear, which is part of that mechanism, which is holding the firing pin inactive, I'm going to say, in its place. It's blocking from hitting. That's the only way the firing pin can move forward, get past the trigger bar, which is lowered. And I'm going to kind of try to describe it physically. Like, say, if this is kind of sear and this is the trigger bar, this gets lowered, push that, and the firing pin here, from here, it's clear to go, right? And it goes and hits the bottom of the round, the primer, the section where the primer is stored, and then the explosion takes place in the chamber, right, in the barrel. So, okay, then how is it that by itself, as they call it, uncommanded discharge, when the police officer had this gun with it obviously round in the chamber, they got discharged without him even touching his gun, and that was proven that, according to reports of that police officer, his holster, obviously the department issue holster, there are no problems with as far as the safety design of a holster that passed the safety standards of the department, and covering the trigger area, trigger guard, and trigger itself completely. So I can't see any possibility that by mistake somehow his finger kind of got in there and unintentionally pulled it. I just cannot bring myself to believe in that. And any discussion kind of supporting this, to me, is just kind of a moot point. It doesn't go anywhere. So the accidental, officer without being aware, manipulating the gun, or maybe under stress, they can say, I think, that he did something that he doesn't even remember because he wasn't kind of about to engage, or he was in the middle of engagement. And no, he was just standing there and the gun was in his holster. So none of these are valid arguments. And again, the other one, because there's multiple cases, the multiple people came with this problem, and this is just one of them. The police officer had that issue. And again, company did not respond to that. They responded with their public announcement, the drop test part of it, So, okay, the drop test, they say, if it is done the way I just described before, 4 feet from 4 feet distance, drop it to the ground, concrete surface, at a negative 30-degree angle. That might go, get discharged. And if it is, since they're saying that, they gotta fix that problem now. That's there's no doubt about it, right? So, under any circumstances, at any rate, Sig Sauer has to fix this problem, or at least do something. Whatever they do, have to convince the public, particularly the Sikh community, that there is no problem. And they did extensive tests. I don't know how many times they do, hundreds of thousands of times, whatever, making sure that the gun does not get discharged accidentally. And what I just described, try to describe what the mechanisms of the striker fires, the way they work with the firing pin, and the way it works along with the sear, the trigger bar, sear, and firing pin, which is all part of the FCU, the Firing Control Unit, and that is being accidentally discharged, is not understandable. The only thing I can think is mechanically somehow, when maybe I'm saying again, maybe there is an accumulation of grit and dirt in that area that is somehow causing a problem the functionality of the sear in conjunction with the trigger bar and the firing pin, and that's also, I mean, somehow it is causing some kind of delay or some kind of a malfunction, and it is eventually not holding in the right. It's not in its right place. The trigger bar or sear and the firing pin, and because of the accumulated amount of maybe dirt and grit and stuff like that, is causing that problem. I mean, if it is, well, the solution is keep your gun clean, okay, and make sure that go into those tiny little sections, parts of the FCU area, and just try to kind of clean it up, just like when you go to dentist with their tools, they're going into back all the way here, right, and cleaning the teeth, and get one of those tools, tiny little tools, the gun cleaning set tools, and then clean those areas. I don't know if that is a problem. I'm just thinking. I'm just kind of assuming that that would be one of the maybe possible reasons. But again, relying upon what the Sig Sauer is saying, at least they obtained results like that. Like the picture shows, something like that was obtained based on their thousands of times of experimenting with those guns dropping the concrete. So I guess looks like we got a problem with this, and in my opinion, it doesn't take away from the beauty and functionality and reputation of this gun. This is something that they have to address and fix and convince the Sig Sauer community, and they have to show a goodwill. For some reason, I'm a little bit disappointed with, not necessarily with this problem. I mean, okay, there's a lot of manufacturers, they fix a lot of problems and also inform the public that we fixed that problem, or we were having a problem with the previous model, now we fix it with our new model, that problem is gone. They always do that, right? How is it that a company like Sig Sauer so far has been kind of not responsive to these complaints, in fact almost like denying the existence of the problem and putting the blame on the users, like the improper gun handling and things like that? This is a little disappointing. They should have acted earlier and take full accountability and responsibility and say, okay, we're going to work on it and we're going to provide you another model, and then make sure that this problem is once and for all completely resolved. This is the expectation from Sig Sauer. Unfortunately, that part was a little bit disappointing to see. So yeah, folks, this is what I wanted to share with you. Like I said, I'm going to put those two links. By the way, one of them is state of Georgia. They found the company Sig Sauer guilty for this problem, and that's just also another piece of information. So I'm going to put those two links under this video, and you can see yourself and read the details. So please share your thoughts about what you're saying, what you're thinking. Do you think that would be potentially reason, or am I just making this up? You can argue against or for, or share please another possibilities that I didn't mention. Thank you very much. I appreciate for your time for watching my video.